Hello Taste Buds, I've got a way for you to beat the heat this summer. Actually, it's a delicious way for you to beat the heat this summer. Gazpachos. Join me today as I make some for you on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to our home here at the Goya Kitchen at JA World in Coconut Creek. It's said gazpachos originated in southern Spain in Andalusia. They are a refreshing mix of raw vegetables, but if you're thinking they're just another V8, think again. Today I thought it would be fun to give you a few gazpacho recipes that are different and delicious. So let's get not so cooking, but to blending. The first one is actually an old Russian recipe. It is cold borscht. Everyone I've given this recipe to goes crazy and becomes a beet and borscht lover. So in here I have some peeled and chopped red beets that we're cooking in chicken stock. So I cook the peeled and cut beets until they're tender. And that's when I start to flavor it. So here I have some fennel seeds. Beets and fennel really love each other, so the fennel seed is just delicious in there. I'm gonna add a balance of red wine vinegar and sugar. Now some people like their borscht really thick. I happen to like my borscht really thin, so I always keep a little extra chicken stock or broth or water around just to kind of balance it. Go ahead and add salt now to kind of figure out the balance of everything. I'm also adding a little bit of dill leaves. This is just some fresh dill. I'm adding some in now, but I'll also add some in for a garnish. I need to taste it right now to see if it's balanced and to see if it needs either more sugar, more vinegar, or any of the above. That's a first. It doesn't need anything. It's actually really good. So this is basically done. We're going to go ahead and blend it all together, and then we're going to chill it. So be careful because beets do stain. And as you saw, the fennel seeds went in there too because I just want to grind them up into the soup as well. You also always have to have the delicious beet garnish for your borscht. And that right here is a whole beet. As you can see, it was a really big beet. And that is cooked whole, either in water or roasted in the oven, and then peeled and just grated on a box grater on the large hole. And that's gonna be more than just a garnish. That's really gonna be a big part of the soup. Let's turn this on. Alright, so once you're done with this, you can strain it through a fine mesh strainer or a chinoise, or you can leave it as I am on its own. And this is when I really look at it and I try to figure out if I like the texture, the consistency of it, or does it need a little bit more water or broth. So it does have a good amount. You see that texture to it? It's really got good texture. So like I said, I like mine just a hair thinner. So I'm just really going to add a splash of chicken stock to it, or chicken broth to it, and mix it. And to me, this is gorgeous. Now, as it cools, of course, it's going to thicken up as well. And to cool it quick, I'm just going to pour it into a bowl that's sitting over a bowl of ice water. Right now is the perfect time to go ahead and add a squeeze of lemon. And of course, this isn't a traditional gazpacho, but it is a cold soup, which is why I thought it would be perfect for today. It's a great time to go out and either harvest or purchase your beets and to make this delicious soup for yourself and for the family. When you come back, it's going to be cold enough to serve, and then we'll jump right into the next gazpacho. So don't go too far away.
Chef Michelle has more from the Goya Kitchen at JA World. SoFlo Taste is back in 2.
Elena Capra, asking you to stay tuned for SoFlo Home Project next. Now, back to Chef Michelle.
Welcome back to my Gazpachos Are Cool here on SoFlo Taste. And by the way, as always, I am practicing physical distancing here in the Goya kitchen at JA World. So I'm not wearing a mask, so you can hear me better and of course see me. But the crew is masked up. Take your best shot, SoFlo.
Yes, Chef.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're jumping right into our next gazpacho, which is actually a true gazpacho recipe. But it is not the red kind you're thinking of. It is called ajo blanco. Now, one of the most important parts is that you find yourself the right almond. A lot of recipes talk about using pretty much any kind of peeled or raw almond, but let's face it, if you use a Marcona almond, there's gonna be nothing like it. We're gonna start out with those, okay? They're going into the blender. This is 3 cups of dried bread that has been sitting. It's peeled baguette, chopped up, sitting overnight. The bread is soaked up all of that water. It's all going into the blender. All right. Next, garlic. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick real quick with garlic. So garlic actually has a germ naturally and usually inside of it. This might be really fresh and hopefully I won't find it, but I might find it. So if you cut garlic clove in half, usually you can find a little piece of yellowish to greenish germ right in the middle. You see how this looks like it's going to be a germ eventually, but it's not? That means your garlic is crazy fresh. You don't have to do anything to it. So 2 garlic cloves, fresh dill. Now that is not traditional at all. It's just what for some reason, I love dill in this recipe. I think it's just delicious. A little bit of Jerez vinegar, sherry vinegar, not to be confused with sherry, the drinking sherry. It's definitely vinegar. The last thing you need is really good extra virgin olive oil. So good you'll want to drink it. Let's just go right in the blender and get this going. So I'm going to run the blender and I'm not going to speak for obvious reasons. This is going to blend up really well, and then I'm going to start adding in the drizzle of oil to really bring it together and emulsify it, as we like to say, we chefs. So let's take a look-see, see how creamy this looks. It looks pretty creamy from here, but I'll only know once I stick a spoon. And let's see how pretty. So you see how gorgeously silky smooth that is? That's exactly what you want. Let's taste it, because it probably needs some seasoning. The only thing I need is a little black pepper. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. Now, traditionally, ajo blanco is served with sliced grapes. So we have some green grapes. One of my favorite things to put inside of the ajo blanco is also some pickled garlic, which you can buy or you can make. I've made it for many years in my career, and it's never, ever, ever as good as buying it. So I basically go to my favorite Spanish either websites or stores, and I just buy pickled garlic. It's so yummy. It doesn't smell garlicky. Well, it has like that roasty smell, you know, that sweet smell of garlic, but it's really like a crunchy pickle, and it's just so yummy. All right, so if you don't do the garnishes, you're not going to be where you should be, okay? Because the garnishes bring it to life. This is delicious, but it's nowhere without the garnishes, just so you know. So you'll really want to have some kind of a pickle, but really, if you're going to do anything, just really do the grapes, because that sweetness of the grapes just bring it all together. All right, so as thin as you can, go ahead and slice the grape in nice thin slices. Like I said, if you don't have or don't want to get the garlic, then just use the grapes. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to slice the garlic nice and thin. I know it looks like crazy, like eating garlic, but when you eat it, It's really like eating a pickle. It's crazy. Like, I don't like raw garlic very much in my mouth. This is so yummy. What you'll want to do is keep this, luckily everything that's in this was cold, but you want to keep it really good and cold when you serve it, because there's a huge difference between serving a gazpacho room temperature and serving it cold. It's so delicious. It's how it should be. So if you want, you can put this in the fridge until it's time to serve. But let me just show you what I would do. See how beautifully creamy it is? That's because we basically made almond butter, and that oil really just made it beautifully creamy and emulsified. And then we're going to top it with these gorgeous grapes that add a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of tartness at the same time. But you really want a nice amount of them and really just cover the whole top of your soup. Just beautiful. Now, this is a hearty, really healthy, filled with omega-3 acids and fatty acids, and it's just so good for you. But like I said, it loves protein too, so if you want to like throw a little sauteed fish or a tartare or something, and then go ahead if you feel like it, this pickled garlic really does make a huge difference, and it makes it very, very special. I truly believe that this might become something that's part of what you guys eat like once a month. It might be on your menu a lot. Garnish with some fresh dill. Now, I don't feel like it needs any salt because the marconas are so salty, but look how beautiful that is to serve to your loved ones. Yay! All right, moving on. Let's come back and do probably my #1 favorite of all the gazpachos. See you in a minute. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We are here at JA World in Coconut Creek for information about this wonderful place and what they do here for our kids. Even during a pandemic, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the food. Have you ever heard of salmorejo? I know you've heard of gazpacho, but salmorejo is kind of like the cousin of the gazpacho. It is a tomato-based soup, and it is cold, but it's different. And it has a few less ingredients, but it is vibrant and thick and creamy and delicious. So let's jump in. I'm also going to teach you how to make this beautiful salad that I love to eat either next to the salmorejo or actually in the salmorejo. So you can use the salmorejo also as a vinaigrette. We're going to go ahead and add some tomatoes to the blender. Now I went ahead and peeled these, and we add that right into the blender. I've got bread, again, peeled dry bread, going into the blender. I don't know if you all knew, but gazpacho, if you look it up in the old traditional Spanish dictionaries, it actually means a salad. All right, moving on. Garlic, just 1 clove, a little sherry vinegar. To get it all kind of moving, I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup of water and see where that takes me. It also gets finished with olive oil. You know the Spaniards love olive oil. Oh, you know what? This does need salt. I'm going to throw a little bit of salt in there. Okay. Now you'll notice that because of the lack of the red pepper, like it is in traditional gazpacho, the Andalusian style, this will be a little bit lighter in color. #1, because of all the bread, the air that we're whipping into it, and eventually the oil that we're going to be whipping into it as well. And voila. Oh, yay! We have creamy. All right, let me show you this one. See how beautifully creamy that is? Somehow we've created this beautiful rich. Yes, yes, yes. Man, that's good. Oh, I love it. All right, sorry, I get excited. So we will serve this in a bowl, and I'm going to show you two things to serve with it. First, the traditional one. So I have a couple of slices of jamón serrano, kind of looks like prosciutto, right? I'm going to roll that up, and using a really nice sharp knife, I'm going to cut really nice thin slices all the way up the jamón serrano. All right, so we're going to put that, sprinkle it right in the center. And then the other traditional ingredient is to take a hard-boiled egg and to slice it, and then to put some slices of hard-boiled egg around the soup as well. But let me show you what Mishi, the chef, likes next to her soup. So I have here some water that is simmering, and I have in my bowl already some cooked asparagus, some roasted golden beets, some sliced radishes. I'll add a little bit of Italian parsley. Now, I really wanted to show you how to properly blanch a vegetable. So I've got some green beans here, and I've got some snap peas. So they actually take about the same time to cook. You know what, the green beans take a little longer. So we add those first. We're gonna wait, pretend we're waiting a minute, and then we're gonna add the snap peas to it. And that together will probably take about 2 minutes. Now this is a very salted pot of water. Water is boiling. I always have a little bit of ice water right here for when we pull the vegetables out and we stop the cooking process. And then what we're gonna do is make a beautiful salad with all of these vegetables and add the same Spanish olive oil that we did to our salmorejo. A little tiny touch of sherry vinegar. I'm obviously bringing back all the flavors that are in the soup next to the soup. And I love to serve a big old salad like this, not leafy salad, but a vegetable salad in the center. And then I actually spoon salmorejo around it as if it was kind of like the sauce around it. So these vegetables are cooked. I can actually hear the snap peas popping. Beautiful. And look how beautifully vibrant they become when you cook them just a little bit in some salted water. Just gorgeous. So once these cool, you take these out of here and you cut everything up about the same size so that it's the same kind of mouthfeel. So I would say in like thirds of the size of the vegetables. And I like to cut things kind of on a bias, like so. Add that in. Let's add in a little bit of Maldon salt and a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And let's mix this up a little bit. And look how gorgeously beautiful all these colors. You have different crunches and textures in each one, and this just goes so beautifully. Just pour it alongside of your salmorejo, or like I said, instead of eating the salmorejo as a soup, which I can't imagine not, but I can see that you would, just use it as a little sauce for a beautiful, beautiful vegetable salad. Come right back, let's see how we did on our borscht. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. So let's try the beet gazpacho, or as some of us would like to call borscht. Now I love to put it in a little white pitcher. I actually had an ice cube in there, which is still there, so I know that we're nice and cold. And then remember I told you that we have some shredded beets. I'm just going to put a lot of those in the soup because I just love to find shreds of beets as I eat this. And then sour cream, which is probably one of my favorite parts of it. And of course, fresh dill. Just beautiful. Well, gazpachos are wonderfully delicious things, and with summer just around that hot, sweaty corner, they are hugely refreshing and, as you saw, quick and easy. Next week, I'll be giving you a Memorial Day cookout menu curated from our years together. I'll have sweet tea, fried chicken sandwiches, mini corn dogs, and cookout brownies. Now, that menu is something to celebrate. Now, let's check in with my pal and design expert, Elena Capra, to see what's coming up next on SoFlo Home Project. Hey, Elena.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. So today we take a look at something that affects us all, and that is lighting for the home and also the kitchen. I thought you would enjoy that. So coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we take a look at lighting trends and how it can help transform your life.
Okay, Elena, well, stay tuned and let there be light. I just want to taste this quick beef gazpacho. This is so good. Wow. So taste buds. Be smart, be safe, and be well. And I'll see you next week. And as always, please support your local growers and restaurants. They need it. Goodbye, good health, mwah, mwah, and good taste. Gazpachos are cool.